If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
So I've been thinking about something.
What's on your mind?
This is a conversation that I think we may have touched on lightly on the podcast, maybe in the early days, and I know we've spoken about this off mic some.
Okay. And you got me intrigued.
And that is, and I don't want to get too deep into it because this is potentially something that we could do for an entire episode one day.
Oh.
But I was just thinking.
What's that?
A couple days ago, I posted the video to our page, the classic reaction video to seeing Cap real Mjolnir and start to whoop Thanos' ass, just like that entire, the entire third act of Endgame is damn near perfect because it's just such a beautiful combination of payoff and of anticipation and fan service, and it's all done like this one kind of beautiful visual orchestra of badassery.
Okay.
And I was thinking about that, about how visceral everybody's reaction was to seeing Cap not only real Mjolnir, but also seeing Thanos finally get his comeuppance. Mm-hmm. And it got me thinking about something, and that is, we've spoken about this maybe almost ad nauseum about how we are kind of fortunate that Marvel didn't get certain properties until much later on in their tenure in the MCU.
Okay.
Because had they started off with full access to everybody, such as the X-Men and Fantastic Four, I feel fairly confident that we wouldn't have started the MCU off with an Ironman movie. I feel confident that it would have been started off with a more popular or lucrative character. Maybe they would have started with Spider-Man and then dovetailed into the X-Men and then dovetailed into maybe like a Captain America or Thor or Hulk.
Right. Like Avengers would have been second platter to something else.
Yeah. Because you think about it, even at the time that the comics or that the movies came out, and Holmes could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the X-Men comics were even selling more than Avengers at the time.
Yeah.
And I've said this comment a time or two as well, and it's interesting to note that before the first Avengers movie, and this is kind of the main point here, was that before the main Avengers movie, Darkseid was way more popular and well known than Thanos. But after 2012, there was a shift, almost a sudden shift, and to the point now, the point now where a few weeks ago, one of my coworkers commented on a picture that I posted of Darkseid about how it seems like there's a bunch of Darkseid ripoff or a bunch of Thanos ripoffs coming out the woodworks. Yeah, and Did you
tell him to listen to our Thanos podcast, the one we have in our catalog? The one where we talk about where Thanos was a ripoff of Darkseid, right. Made up in a psychology college course.
Yeah. But it got me thinking. Like, the only reason why that is because Marvel had to use who they could. With Darkseid being more popular, I'm pretty sure that if Marvel had it their way, they would have gone with a different main biggie. I'm pretty sure that they would have tried their hand at a Galactus or a Doctor Doom. Or maybe even a Beyonder. I
was about to say that Doctor Doom would have been easy money, so yeah, possibly that.
Yeah. I mean, like their options were literally super vast, but they were like, well, we have to use what we have, so therefore maybe we should put all our money down with this Thanos guy. Now, he was always a huge villain, but only for the nerds. Right. Only for the nerds.
I was about to say, because he is notorious in some of the best written comic runs for Marvel here. He's a worthy villain to choose. But you're right. Money-wise, popularity-wise, he wasn't an A-lister there, you know? So I can see your point. But then again, that's kind of the brilliance of what Marvel did, isn't it? We even had this discussion off mic ages ago where before Iron Man the movie came out, Iron Man, the comic book character, was like a B-rate character at best. People didn't have there weren't tons of comics about him. Sure, there were some great and notorious reads from him, i.e. Demon in a Bottle, just off the cuff of my mind, but people weren't avidly like reading for him. Movie comes out, holy fuck, Iron Man's the best, everybody's new favorite, you know. So yeah, what you're talking about is totally true.
Yeah. You know, even with the whole Tony Stark thing, it's like you're right. I'll say this, especially from the mainstream point of view, nobody was checking for Tony Stark before the movie came out.
Right.
Before Iron Man 1 came out, nobody was really looking for Iron Man. It was, I mean, once again, it was just one of those things that were kind of a deep cut. If you read comics, then sure, you would be hyped for an Iron Man movie. But otherwise, you aren't, man, because he was still one of the founding members of the Avengers. You can never take that away from him. He was still a staple, just like Cap, you know. Like, if you remove one of those, then the Avengers is kind of wonky.
Right.
But yeah, so that's just something that kind of I've been thinking about lately. And it's just interesting now because a lot of people are like, it's about time they got those Fox properties. And I'm like, I think this was very actually well timed. I think that it works out better this way.
Oh, no, I agree fully, dude, because the old mantra, too much too soon, is very much true, you know? Imagine going to a buffet where you can eat a plate, go up, pick up another plate, and then the third plate maybe, or whatever you like to do at a buffet. You tell me your eating habits, I guess. But yeah, no, with this, it's more like, hey, I'm comfortable. I'm a human being. I'll eat this one plate at a time. Thank you very much. Whereas if they had all the Marvel properties, that's like someone from the buffet line coming and dropping off 8 plates at your table saying, hey, we predicted this is all what you're going to eat.
Yeah.
This doesn't include dessert plate with whatever. So, you know, good luck. I'm not going to eat that much food. You know, I don't want that many properties all at once here, especially when it's like, oh, you guys are rushing. You know, or a threat of rushing through the properties turns up, and all of a sudden you're burning through big names.
Not the country.
Oh gosh, keep talking. I'm done.
Speaking of Russian, Black Widow. No.
Was that an instant plug for her movie? Is that what you've done here?
Hey, you know, Marvel definitely needs our help promoting.
And there's the punchline, and there's the kicker.
Oh shit! But welcome back, guys, to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here with the homie Kevin.
Hey guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome back to another show. Here we are. We're doing things.
Yeah. So tonight, guys, we have a really fun episode lined up.
Yeah, we've been waiting on this one for a couple weeks now.
That we have. What we have here is we have gathered a list together from Ranker.com, and this is an article that's a few weeks old now. And on this article from Ranker.com, got to give them credit. Okay. What they've done is they compiled a list of viewpoints and statements from different Redditors concerning the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now these are considered to be technically unpopular opinions, but these are technically also polled questions as well, or statements.
And so, quick disclaimer, guys. Q found the list and presented the idea in one of our little podcast meeting sessions that we have off mic to organize the show, because we try to be adults and fail only half the time, I promise. And I have no idea what these questions are. So this is going to be a total surprise for me. But it sounds interesting as hell, dude. I'm curious to see what some of these mayhaps controversial questions or mayhaps quite agreeable questions might be. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm clueless at this point.
And so essentially, as far as, you know, time permits, and as far as we're interested in these questions, we're going to kind of go over these and, you know, figure out whether we or also you guys, the homies, agree or disagree with these.
Yep.
So we'll start off with number 1.
Please, yeah.
Which is
should we say spoiler alert? I'm joking. So many of our episodes have spoiler alerts. It feels weird to not have one, you know? Just in case. Spoiler alert.
If you've been under a rock for the past, how long has MCU been out? 12 years? 10
almost
years?
13 now.
Almost 13,
almost 13. Happy 13th, MCU.
But number 1, the Hulk is actually underpowered. And there are little blurbs just to kind of describe what they mean. But I think this one's pretty clear, but I'll read just a little bit of it. They say that The Hulk has gotten the short end of the stick lately. Hulk is supposed to be the strongest Avenger physically. His durability and strength should just edge out Thor. Thor might be more powerful, but recently the movies have shown Thor stronger as well. Part of it was because Hulk got beaten in Ragnarok. Of course, you can't have Thor lose in his own movie, but they showed Hulk being winded much earlier than Thor. I think they need to show Thor using his lightning on Hulk a little while longer, so just a blast. Additionally, Hulk losing to Thanos should happen, but when the same movie showed the guy who beat Hulk also surviving the force of a full star, then defeating Infinity Gauntlet power Thanos with one blow while charging into a beam from the Infinity Gauntlet. Plus, it puts Thor way above Hulk in showings. They're mainly using the Thor versus Hulk debate. But how do you feel about how Hulk's been used?
I mean, that kind of takes a lot of the discussion away from it. But dude, I totally agree. And that feels like it needs a disclaimer. Quote, as far as the movies are concerned, end quote.
This is for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
All of them. Okay. Good note to make here one more time, just for clarity. As far as the movies go, dude, I agree with that. Hulk was definitely underpowered because the Hulk is formidable and he's dangerous. He's a double-edged sword. And in the movies, that's not always the case. You know, the first Avengers movie did the best at kind of selling him as, okay, this guy is loose cannon. We need to be careful because a great example of that, whenever Hulk was loose on top of the helipad up there.
Helicarrier.
Helicarrier, thank you. That's why I meant helipad.
There's a helipad up there too.
There's a couple of them up there, right?
A couple of them,
all on the helicarrier because they carry the pads.
And the copters.
And the planes. And Nick Fury. And they said, okay, we cannot let the Hulk get loose on this thing. We can't let Mark Ruffalo's Hulk get mad because he's going to break and crash everything. But then eventually, as the movies progressed along, they took the attention away from that. Which, I mean, they told great stories, but the Hulk's character suffered for that, you know? I mean, Infinity War, what happened to the Hulk? That's a great example, too, where it's like, oh, wait, he just kind of wussed out for most of the movie.
Yeah, and that's the part I disagree with as well. It's that,
right?
I mean, I completely agree with and applaud them for showing Thanos whip his ass in the beginning.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Hulk, the strongest there is, that's his moniker, never comes back.
That's bull.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. So, that Reddit user, whomever typed that statement,
his name was Jon Snow something.
Well, King of the North, you are correct.
Let's see how much the other Redditors agree with us.
The rightful king of Westeros.
So we do agree the Hulk is actually underpowered.
Check.
86% of people agree with that statement.
Dope. Yeah. So, okay, everyone, hey, we all have brain cells. Good job.
Right. But it is true, and it is really unfortunate because I agree with you, man, on this one. Because you're right. In Avengers 1, Hulk was very well used. They build up the paranoia and the anxiety of seeing the Hulk with the beginning scenes of Bruce Banner and Natasha, like when she first meets up with him and tries to get him to come nicely, and like just the way that Ruffalo plays it, man, is so goddamn good. And Joss Whedon's his directing skills with that was also top notch, and it just kind of built up this almost unseen fear of the Hulk, this creature that we haven't seen in the movie up until that point. And then when he finally comes out and he's a monster. And not only that, man, but if you look at it, when the Hulk does arrive, they need Thor to deal with him, and it's not like Thor beats him, it's Thor keeps him occupied. And then they continue on the movie, and we see him put down the Leviathan, the giant
exactly thing, the warm guy
with the punch,
with a daggone
with the
punch.
Fucking punch, which was amazing.
And then a really cool line leading into it. Here's the secret. I'm always angry.
Yeah.
That was
I still
great.
don't get it, but it was a great line. And of course, like, he single-handedly beat Loki. You know?
Yeah.
It was great. But then, as the movies go on, we see him again in Age of Ultron, and we got what I still think is an amazing fight scene between Hulk and Hulkbuster. That was an amazing scene. That was one of the best fights in the MCU, I think. I was like a kid in the candy store watching that shit.
Yep.
But he lost. And don't get me wrong, that is what the Hulkbuster is technically made for.
Yeah.
To deal with the Hulk. But, it's like he lost, and I mean, it's casualty of war. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
But as the movies go on, Ragnarok. That's really when things went down for the Hulk. In my opinion.
Ragnarok ruined the Hulk's character. But hey, third episode ever. we have fought that fight, and we're fighting a losing battle.
Oh yes.
What's number 2?
Let's see. Next up.
Yep. I'm kind of taking note of our tracks over here because I'm gonna tally and see how often we're on the quote correct side with everyone else's vote,
or the majority.
Yeah, exactly.
So this one I'm really interested to get your viewpoint on.
Sure.
And there is just like a sentence blurb to kind of explain it, but it says the comics aren't sacred. Would you like their sentence long explanation as to what they mean?
Yes, please. Yeah.
It says, as long as characters and stories are well written, I couldn't care less about quote unquote staying true to the comics. You agree? Disagree?
Oh, that went a different direction. That's not what I anticipated.
Yeah.
I'm glad you read that. Mm-hmm. So, no, I completely disagree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So. Let me clarify first, and let me make sure I heard that statement correctly. So they're saying that the comics aren't sacred, i.e., we don't need to base our movie characters off of these people. Mm-hmm. In that we're making stories for the movies, but they're expectedly, and what this person is saying, they need to be different from the comics. Essentially, yeah.
I get. Well, they're saying the stories just need to be well written. And they couldn't care less about staying true to comics. So I guess whatever you can take from that, whatever you can.
I mean, it's. I feel like most of these are going to end up being mixed answers, and this is a perfect example of one.
Yeah.
But in so many words, I would disagree. And I guess at this point, it's really the answer to that question is also going to be dictated as to why you go to the movie. You know?
Right.
Do you go to the movie to be entertained, or do you go to the movie to watch a Thor movie or a Captain America movie or an Ironman, Hulk, whatever the fuck movie, Yeah. If that's the case, then no, the answer to that question for you definitely should be, yeah, of course these stories matter because they're actual characters. What has made and what continues to make these characters that we love so much grow and be actual things comes from the comics. The comics at that point are gospel texts, If you're just going to the movies to say, oh, I want to be entertained, then who cares? At this point, it's a bunch of actors cosplaying, being themselves under, adult supervision with a camera in front of them, It's
another action movie.
Another action movie. Thank you. It's another fun movie, like your Die Hard or your Rambo movies or something, or your fucking Fast and Furious, because heaven knows I care about those. But I've made fun of them so much, guys. I don't like them. But... yeah, no, I would argue, at least for the for the benefactory of the comic fans like us, they matter. They do. That's my vote ultimately because it's, on another side of it, it's kind of insulting to the fans to say, hey, we're using your characters. Can you imagine them taking Batman's image and not making a Batman movie out of him? And just doing something dumb. Like, think the Lego movie style Batman, but in real life with a real person dressed up under the cowl. That would piss me off as a fan, right? That would piss so many people off, because that's not Batman. Batman is dark and smart and prepared and not funny and whimsical and slapstick. So, yeah. I want my stories to be written well, but I want my stories to be anchored in a strong... in the strong character bases that I know and love as a fan of that character. I want my Iron Man to be tactical and futurist and a fun-ass playboy billionaire philanthropist. I want my Thor to be Nordic, to be a god, to be...
proud,
mighty and prideful. And yes, and I want Captain America to be...
stoic and...
You stole the word out of my mind. I was just about to say stoic. Dadgum, dude. Yeah. Stoic and a great leader and the Boy Scout of the Avengers. I want those characters to be them. And I want the Hulk to be menacing, not playing with a big-ass rubber ball in his home room like a gym,
Right, not being happy on Planet Sakaar. Okay, we know. when
we know what we're making fun of.
We will cover Planet Hope, by the way. So
yeah, that's happening. Yeah. We have the books. We're ready for this. But yeah, so I mixed answer. I get where they're coming from, and that's respectable if all you care about in these movies are entertainment. But for the rest of us who are fans, it's insulting when you take our characters and make them hollow shells of what they actually should be. How does that work? Does that make sense for you?
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Thank you. Okay, good. Yeah.
You know, for me, I always harken back with questions like this to what we've since donned superhero homies rule number 1, which is you can feel free to tell whatever stories you want as long as you stay true to the integrity of the characters.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's always going to be it. Like that that is kind of like the foundation of how we base, you know, these movies.
Great example of that. We're about to get, guys, celebrate with me here. We're about to get in some months, in some time, a Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch horror movie. I cannot wait for that story. I have not been told a story like that, I think, ever. But the pivotal thing that's going to make or break that movie is I want my actual characters. I don't want Doctor Strange to be like some dumb college boy who went to a campground and all of a sudden he's being chased around by a murdering Scarlet Witch or some shit, you know? Mm-hmm. You get my point? That's not who that character is. That's not who Scarlet Witch is. You get where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's entirely true, you know, because it's like this. I feel like, and with all due respect to the Redditor who made that comment, and with all due respect to everybody who agrees with him.
That wasn't Jon Snow, was it?
No, it's a different guy.
Okay, good. Thank you. I couldn't support King of the North then.
You know, for me, that's like, why should comics be treated any differently from books? Because that same person, I guarantee you, would flip his shit if Lord of the Rings was done like that.
Right?
You know?
If Gandalf the Grey was blue, everyone would be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over a color change.
Yeah. If Gandalf wasn't, you know, so stern, straightforward, and also in his own way kind and gentle, like if he was a completely different persona,
right,
people would flip their shit, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
So why should we as comic fans be expected to feel any differently when these movies treat comic book characters like that? When they just assume the audience either doesn't know the characters or the source material, or that we don't care.
No, we definitely fucking care.
Yeah. So, like for me, like that's kind of the whole ordeal with that. You know, you can't just assume that we don't know or don't care. You treat these properties with respect. Don't just try to put your own spin on them for no reason.
Exactly. If you're going to put a spin on the story, hallelujah.
Yeah.
If you have to break the characters to tell your story, get out. Stop.
Yeah.
No, we're done. We're closing the doors.
And I'm going to tentatively, you know, walk across these eggshells here, but you know that's
smash them.
that's my biggest problem with Captain Marvel. It's not that they changed the story. I get it, man. Like her story at this point is really kind of convoluted to tell. However, the fact that you had to ruin certain characters to do it, that really is what takes me out of it.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, guys.
Yeah. So ultimately, we both disagree.
Did the majority of people agree with that?
25% of people agree with us.
Dude. Oh, man. Okay. We're wrong, and the 75% of people disagree with us. Dadgum, that's depressing, man.
You know, I think that really goes to show, because I guarantee you that 75%...
We're a losing army?
Well, that... But also...
homies, we need more influence.
Well, for one thing, not to pat ourselves on the back too hard, but I think we just gave a pretty rousing, speech about why...
Hopefully so, dadgummit. Stand under our flag with us, guys. Let's fight everyone else.
And not only that, but like out of that 75% of the people, how much of those people do you think read comics? Probably not many.
Yeah, that's a strong point to bring up, actually.
So why should they care? You know, it'd be like the same thing like with Game of Thrones. You know, for the most part, we really enjoyed that show.
True.
And neither of us have read the source material. Nope. I mean, if they changed it, we wouldn't know. And then we also have that question, would we really care if we enjoy what we got?
Right. Great example. I'm sure both of us would have enjoyed a Catherine Stoneheart in the show. But, the book reader's going to be like, we should have got her, Right. Yeah. But yeah, what's number 3, man?
Number 3, this Redditor says, Age of Ultron is a great film.
Number 4. I plead the 5th and drink my kombucha.
Shit.
So, do they have a line of defense? I mean, do they bring anything to the prosecutor's table or something? Or
yeah, they say the action scenes are great. Everyone is wringing every bit they can from the script, and James Spader's Ultron is amazing. People are too hard on it because they didn't know where the MCU was going. It's kind of like the Attack of the Clones of Marvel.
I'm sorry, hold up. If they didn't know where the MCU was going after watching this movie, they didn't watch the same movie. The movie blatantly built, like, they worked too hard on building the next arch, the next sequence, to not know.
Yeah.
But okay, excuse me. That was me interrupting. So, but I mean, was it a good movie? Yeah. Was it a good MCU movie? No. You know, and what I mean by that is, yeah, it was a fun movie. I watched it. It was entertaining. Did I watch it more than once? Yes, willingly. Excuse me, kombucha burp. But would I say that it deserves to stand alongside like the other Avengers as like, oh, these are all just as great movies? No, I would put Avengers 2 underneath them. I would say, nah, this is a lesser movie still. Yeah, man. I mean, how would you put it? Because I know I'm not alone here.
I'm kind of torn on this one because Age of Ultron has its blatant flaws, you know, mostly with them cramming. My biggest problem with this movie is that they just cram too much into it. And, you know, if I take a step back and look at my complaint, my biggest problem is that they tried to give me too much in one film. And it became kind of messy because of it. But when I really think about the movie, I think it did way more great than terrible. I think I do agree with the Redditor when he says that James Spader was amazing as Ultron.
Yeah, no, that's undeniable. That should be 100%. Yeah.
And you know, I already mentioned the Hulkbuster fight scene with Hulk. I always think about that as an amazing scene.
One of the best.
I also still think about Captain America trying to choke out Ultron, the robot, and I can never forget that now. But no, I think about Ultron. Remember Ultron's very first scene in the movie? It was after the party scene. In the party scene itself, I thought was fantastic.
It was awesome.
We get to see them just being them.
Yeah.
There's no fucking world-ending threat at the time.
We got to see. Oh fuck! Help me out here. We got to see War Machine tell the story to the Avengers, and they're just kind of like, "Cool, that's great."
Oh, is that it?
Is that it? That's all? Oh, cool. Yeah, no, that was a good one. That was a good one. And then turn around and tell the same story to a group of normal people, and they're all like, "Whoa!" Yeah. And he's just like, "Yeah."
I got it. You know, we get to see like a pissing contest between Thor and Tony about their women. You know, well, Pepper, right. she's doing this. And Jane, she's doing, and it becomes like a real pissing contest between those two. And then, of course, we see the Mjolnir scene.
The Mjolnir scene was awesome. And that was the first moment where we see Cap move the hammer. Yeah. And freaking and Thor's character like, what?
All right. What? And like that entire scene was great, too, because everybody had great dialogue. And
yeah.
I mean, because, you know, what did Tony say? He said something like, oh, yeah, I believe the expression should go, and whosoever possesses Thor's fingerprint is worthy of lifting Mjolnir. Yeah. Right. Pretty funny.
And then that was the first reference I heard to Krav Maga since Braveheart. And everybody had to look that up, and I was like, Krav Maga?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I shall be what did he say? I'll be a ruthless yet fair leader or something like that.
Yep. But then, of course, they're interrupted by James freaking Spader.
Yeah. Worthy. No, none of you are worthy. Yeah. Oh, fucking great. Yeah. I mean, but ultimately, I'm torn. I wish there was like an in-between button on this one, because it's like it's not. You're right. It's not as good as any of the other Avengers movies, but I feel like what's great about it almost has to stand above most non-Avengers MCU movies. With like the only exception being like what? Obviously Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Iron Man. Yeah.
Iron Man 1, maybe Black Panther.
Oh, Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking Homecoming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go halfway on that, which I guess doesn't count. So
I guess we'll just try to see where everybody else is on this one. So if we agreed with this one, then
I wrote down halfway
yeah.
because I like that better. Yeah, that feels more truthful. So
no, this is just getting the percentages. So if we agreed, 75% would agree, and if we disagreed, 25% would agree with us.
Cool. Okay. What's next? What do we got?
Number 4. Hardcore Marvel fans don't welcome dissension and can be unwelcoming. It sounds like they're talking about basically toxic fandom.
Read the subtext to define what they're trying to use dissension for.
Yeah. This Redditor says, I'd say there's a bit of peer pressure sometimes. Like, you have to love Homecoming and think it's the best Spider-Man movie ever. You have to dislike Defenders and Inhumans and not acknowledge some redeeming qualities. You have to dislike Whedon because the Russos are in charge now. We can't acknowledge all that he's done for the universe. You have to dislike Guardians of the Galaxy and Ragnarok because they're not serious, unlike Winter Soldier. People can disagree on things.
Wow. So I don't know how to tackle this. I feel like the therapist who sat down with the wrong kid. So let's break that down one by one because this is not going to be I can't go black and white on this. Like, this is going to be a gray vote again.
Yeah.
Because first off, who the fuck have you been talking to? Get that toxicity out of your life, son.
Right.
You Redditor. Because nah, bro, Guardians was dope. And if you liked Ragnarok, then Ragnarok was dope too.
Yeah.
You know, fuck it. This is your experience. So fuck what everyone else is telling you. Which sounds ironic because I'm a podcast telling people what my opinion of shit is. You know, trust me, I see the poetry, I see the irony, but I would disagree with that just because I personally don't let their opinions afflict me. And maybe I'm a little biased because I have the power of a microphone, so my voice can be heard by more people here. So I feel like, oh, if you're trying to tell me that's your opinion, that's cool. Oh, you're trying to tell me that I'm wrong in my opinion. Well, fuck you, dude. I don't listen to your opinion. Yeah, because you're trying to bring me down, you know?
Right.
So I don't know, man. How would you break that down? Yeah.
So if I just read like the header, his main statement, then I would agree. But upon reading his description, I have to disagree because like Marvel fans are toxic in the sense that anything superhero related outside of the MCU is garbage to them. That's where I would agree with this Redditor. They are toxic in that environment. But under what he or she's describing,
what's this Redditor's name?
It's from a deleted Reddit account, so there's no.
Okay. Yeah. I was about to say, because if it's Jon Snow again, it's like, bro, you started off so strong.
Yeah, these are all from different Redditors.
Good. Okay. If another one pops up anything close to Jon Snow, though.
Yeah. So it seems like what they're really getting at, though, is you have to join the hive mind. Like,
okay, that statement we can get behind, and I would disagree. I'd say you are correct in that we shouldn't need that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like in that, I would also agree with his overall thesis, because I kind of lumped this all into toxic fandom, saying that Marvel fans can be pretty shitty and toxic, which we've seen.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down my vote as shouldn't need that. Have your own voice.
Yeah.
Which I know is probably not going to be a response that people had. So my chart's not going to work. What was the read off? How many people blod and blod?
So if we agree with this statement, 74% of people would agree with us.
So they would if they agreed with the statement saying that dissension is bad, essentially, right?
Saying that Marvel has dissension that can be unwelcoming.
Gotcha. Oh, well, if you do that, then yeah, I would totally agree. Yeah, I mean, if you just break it down to that simple wordage, that literal verbiage there where Marvel has dissension which can be unwelcoming, of course. Yeah, because Marvel fans will down DC if you just breathe DC into a conversation. So without a doubt, that I would agree with. You know, if what they're saying is all that other trash about you have to like this and you have to like that, and you have to say
they were giving examples of how they felt.
True. Their opinions at this point, which I'm sorry that your friends
suck that much. Yeah.
I was building up to the suck. Get out of my brain. You're reading my thoughts tonight.
I'm sorry.
Get out.
Jeez.
I can read your mind. No, you're not.
Good call. Yeah, you're right.
We've been doing this too long.
Oh, shit. Let's move on to the next one here. I think we'll both agree on this one.
Okay. I disagree.
Number 5. Thor: The Dark World is not the worst MCU film.
Agreed.
Done. I mean, it's not. But once again, just hearkening back to the previous Redditor and what they said, that's part of the hive mind. That's part of the zeitgeist with the MCU, is that there's this hive mind mentality that that Ragnarok, or not Ragnarok, but I'm now just lamenting. But there's this hive mind mentality out there that the Dark World is the worst film in the MCU.
No.
And I'm like, I thoroughly disagree.
Yeah, no, same here. I disagree as well.
I mean, like, we did a whole episode on this. So
you know what that reminds me of? It's like when too many. I guess I don't know a better word right now, so maybe you can help me out. Too many trolls kind of jump behind one concordant idea together, and they kind of like gain a following of other internet users and things like that. Great example, Nickelback. Remember how many people jumped on Nickelback's back and just said, hey, these guys suck. You guys are nothing, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why do we all think that? Yeah, I guess, of course, Nickelback sucks. Everyone tells me they do. And it's like, where did that stem from? You know?
Yeah, it's that hive mind mentality.
Exactly. So, I mean, Dark World being the worst movie? No. That's my hard vote against that.
Yeah.
How many people agree or disagree?
72% of people agree with us.
Really?
Yep.
Dope. So we actually get back on track. We have some votes on our team again.
Yeah.
Sweet. What's number 6? That was easy.
Number 6. This one's gonna be interesting. Marvel killing off most of its villains is a good thing.
Oh gosh. Q. So I'm out. I have mixed feelings because what they've done with the movies, I like it overall. But as far as the stories are concerned, no. You can do so much more with your villains if you don't. You need to recycle your villains, like your plastic bottles and your glass bottles and your aluminum, okay? Villains deserve more than one movie. Especially if they're good villains, you know? Like, I would have loved to see Obadiah Stane again.
Agreed.
You know? That was a great villain, dude. And freaking Jeff Bridges was the best at that. So who wouldn't want to see that again? Why did we have to kill him, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to have him back for 3 or 4 movies like, you know, fucking Jafar or something. But yeah.
Yeah, so, I look at it like this. Like, really, if you look at your villains being killed off, you can look at that one of 2 ways, and I try to be open-minded and keep this perspective. One way is look at them as they fulfilled their role in this movie, which is being that block for the star.
Right.
And then the other half of that is you willingly killing off so many villains tells me that you don't care as much about your villains as you do your heroes.
Yep.
And I think that both sides have a valid argument there because the villains are there to serve a specific purpose. However, I do think that maybe they don't deserve quite as much light on them as the heroes, but at the same time, they deserve more than what they're given. And I think that's my main gripe.
I mean, think about it like this. Imagine if they did that with Magneto. I mean, I'd be pissed because Magneto has such a great story to tell, dude. That's why he's one of the best villains out there.
Yeah.
That's why he's one of my favorites, you know? Imagine if they won and done to him. Yeah, no, fuck that. He's got a powerful message to tell and a voice to tell it. So, yeah. I mean, it's that way with a lot of these villains that we've kind of thrown away.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Some of them I could give a fuck about. Yeah. But
I do look at it like this though. Like, I think that there is a safe middle ground because my main gripe I realize isn't them killing off the villains; it's them just misusing them. But I think like a happy middle ground would be like a Killmonger. He was a very impactful villain, but he was one and done. I was bothered at that in the beginning. Like, man, he was so good, but I think a lot of his impact does come from his death.
That's what I was thinking. His death was super impactful, and I gotta say it was unfortunate, but it drove his point home to a T.
Right.
You know, and that's what made him stand out so hard against so many of these other villains. So I'd say in certain circumstances, if killing your villain does them justice and does the story justice, then sure, please, that's cool. If your villain was written to die, then you're wasting everyone's time. You know, like Yellow Jacket.
I mean, he was literally like a poor blank slate. You know, just
yeah. Like I only remember his name because I make fun of him so much now.
Darren Cross.
Yeah, Darren Daggum Cross. Cross him off the list.
Yeah, he was just a stumbling block for the hero. He was there simply because the hero needed something to overcome. And it's like, I get that. That's essentially why all villains are there. If you're looking at this from like a super basic standpoint, but you got to fill in those other little caveats and blanks to make that character complete. But yeah, so Ant-Man, I think Ant-Man 1 and 2, they're both glaring statements as to Ghost. Yeah. I mean, they're both really obvious points as to, you know, why villains are so lackluster, because you don't put the work into them. You don't give them the same kind of light, the same kind of shine. So
yeah.
But let's see.
So I disagree with that. What was the vote there?
38% of people agree with us. Yep. So they think it's mostly a good thing that these villains are being killed off.
Number 7.
Number 7, we can do this one or not. It to me it's kind of similar to number 6.
Okay.
It says the MCU already has high enough stakes without permanently killing characters.
That's what we just discussed.
Pretty much, yeah.
Number 8.
Yeah. I
mean, what way did the vote go on that one? Let's see if people are hypocrites or not.
40% of people agree with you, so it's basically the same.
Okay. So at least people are holding to their votes.
Yeah.
So okay, cool.
Well, no, actually, looking at this, I'm kind of seeing what they mean here. So they're basically saying, I'll read it again. The MCU the MCU already has high enough stakes without characters permanently dying. So in this regard, they're not talking about villains; they're talking about characters. Period. And so I guess they're saying that, like, for a high stakes movie like an Infinity War or an Endgame,
that we didn't need the deaths of people to tell the story.
That we didn't need the permanent deaths of people.
Wait. Are they saying that we didn't need the permanent deaths?
Yeah.
And
so basically they're saying that like the people that got snapped,
right?
How like we didn't need them to permanently die. Like, so in that regard, I see what they're saying.
Well, are they talking about the snapping, or are they talking about characters that actually quote unquote died, like your Iron Man and things like that? You know. Like, because I hear that thinking we didn't need anyone to die, i.e., let Iron Man live, because the stakes are already high enough. Like, how are we interpreting that? Because I disagree with that. I'm okay with a character to dying, because it adds impact and it adds power to your story. Right. If that's the case.
Yeah, if that's what they're saying, then yeah, I would feel the same way.
Yeah. If that's what they're saying, because that's ambiguous. Wow, I put the accent on it wrong. Ambiguous.
Hey, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we can move on from that one though.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. Number 8 says Thor does cosmic better than the Guardians do.
That's an opinion.
Yeah, I guess all these are, but yeah.
Yeah, but that one is like more blatant of an opinion than the others have been thus far. Cause I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. The Guardians haven't given us a lot of cosmic, but I would say that they've given us more quality cosmic time than Thor has. Thor is predominantly Earth and Asgard.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would disagree with that for now. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel kind of mixed on this one.
I mean, yeah, right?
Yeah, because it's a strange one.
I'm gonna go ahead with disagree on this one though, because
and so they do mention how Thor goes from Earth to Asgard to Jotunheim to Sakaar, and like yeah, all that is true.
Yeah. I forget. I never mind.
Yeah, he also goes to
make that joke here.
Yeah, does he go to hell? Oh, no, I don't think he goes there. But he goes to.
He was in hell in Ragnarok or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, so here's the thing. Like, as far as Thor's powers go, they've mostly been pretty loyal to the source materials. Like, as an overall type ordeal. And with that being said, I mean, with Thor's power set, I mean, yeah, he is more suited for cosmic warfare than most anybody. So it's
especially since he can make lightning, appear in space and control it.
Yeah, I mean, the man, he can live in space for one thing. Like,
right, yeah.
One thing that I made fun of Avengers 1 for is why send Tony Stark to send the nuke when you could just have Thor do it.
Yep.
For one thing, Thor, I'm pretty sure, could do it faster and with zero worries about his safety.
Mm-hmm.
But drama.
Hooray!
I mean, yeah. So this one is kind of bizarre. Like, I think as a whole, as far as the MCU goes, Guardians, I think they've done it better because that's where they spend all of their time.
Right. Exactly.
And it's not just a quantity over quality ordeal. I mean, I think that them going from planet to planet and seeing their interactions with different races and species, like, it's more akin to Star Wars, which makes me think more cosmic than what Thor has traditionally dealt with in the movies.
I mean, that's where my vote's lining up, dude. We see all kinds of crazy cool things, and we get introduction to a lot more crazy cool things in Guardians 2, even though the main plot was kind of surrounded Eros.
Ego.
Yep. Eros. No, that's the god of love. Never mind. That's
Thanos' brother. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no. So, Ego. Even though plot A was kind of surrounded around that, there was the Ravagers, who were like on other cool planets to begin the movie with, and we kind of see them like going out in space doing their own thing too. Yeah. No. I'd still say Guardians for cosmic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, how does the tally look?
Let's see.
I'm writing down and
41% of people agree with you.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Man, we are not winning homies tonight. Not according to this thing. Number 9.
Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff are a natural couple.
As far as the MCU goes, they were trying to spin it. They just didn't put more gas in the tank, I guess. I don't know, man. I'm kind of indifferent to this because they didn't fully invest in it, and neither did I. Mm-hmm. I mean, is that evil to say? Is that
no?
I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know for my votes, I'd be like, I shrug. Sure, because the MCU did a pretty fun job of, like, we need romance here. These characters are both really good at rom-coms, so yeah.
For me, it came out of nowhere and it went nowhere.
Right. They didn't do anything with it. Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'd feel different about it had they built it up, but it just started in Age of Ultron. There was no build up to this in any previous films.
Nope.
So once again, it came out of nowhere. We got it in Age of Ultron, and then we never see that again. So
we see smidgets of it in Ragnarok, and we see That's all I recall. Maybe, maybe Infinity War.
They look at each other and say each other's name in Infinity War, and that's that.
Yeah,
I mean, we see the Hulk get really angry in Endgame when he can't bring her back. But that's all about it.
I wouldn't even say romance. That's too strong. That's too much of a statement. At that point, I'd say crush.
Yeah, that's kind of what they were. And
plus, Hulk is good at crushing.
He's better at smashing. Hey.
We'll take our checks now.
But I guess just to answer the question though, like, are they a natural couple?
No.
It's like Natasha, man, she's had, in my opinion, a lot of really cool and interesting relationships from the comics that they could have pulled from. Yep. I mean, you got Daredevil, and like their relationship at times was mostly more platonic, but at the same time, there was definitely a lot there to their relationship.
Yep.
Her relationship with Bucky, they could have.
I was about to say Winter Soldier. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, hell, like, yeah, I think that would have been a really cool one because, I mean, obviously the comics did it for a reason. Ed Brubaker knows what the fuck he's writing. Mm-hmm. I mean, those two just have so much more in common, in my opinion, than Bruce and Natasha.
Yeah.
But I mean, so ultimately, I disagree with this statement. I do not think they're a natural couple.
No, I already wrote down my vote too.
Yeah. 52% of people agree.
Hey, wait, agree with us?
Yep.
Oh, good. Hey, we're winning again. Well, actually, how many is that agree with us? That's 1, 2, 3. We are on number 9 and we have 3. We are not doing well.
Nope.
Excuse me. Now we're on number 10.
Now we're on number 10. Let's see how this one goes.
Sure.
Team Stark was right in Civil War.
Okay, now wait. Back the fuck up.
Actually, I've been preaching that since day one. I totally think Stark is right. In both the comics and the movie, he was right.
Then why do you choose Team Cap in Ultimate Alliance? You're always Team Cap in Ultimate Alliance.
I do, because I like Captain America. I can't like Captain America?
No, you can. I mean, dope. I mean, between the two, I like Cap more myself. So, Iron Man was right in the movies. Yeah, definitely. Give me a sec to revisit the comics mentally. In the comics, it was because there are different wars in the comic and the movie. Fought similarly, but different battles, different wars. As far as the movie is concerned, yeah, I agree. Tony Stark had the more just side, and I could sit with that and go to sleep well tonight. Mm-hmm. The comics, I feel like it might have been over dramatized for me to so easily jump on one ship, but I think it was written that way on purpose. So I'd have to sit with the comic one for a little longer. I'm not so quick to jump on that boat. I'm gonna stand on the shore and just wave you a good trip. But
I'll be enjoying myself on the correct ship.
All right, it's a cruise. All right, it's a buffet. So good luck eating all 8 plates in one go. Going back to that example, but I'd agree with that, especially as far as the movie is concerned, because Iron Man's side was actually going to lead to like good results, and Cap's side was just leading to extra conflict, unfortunately. Yeah, and that is an opinionated state. So, homies, if you disagree with that or with what we just signed on for, hit us up and let us know. We'd love to make a discussion out of that last one for sure.
Cool. I'll say there for both, like, as far as what they pull from the comics, for both instances, Captain America was he went into business for himself in both the comics and the movie ultimately, because he felt that the rights of the superheroes are being violated, and Tony Stark, in retrospect, was trying to help the people, and that's really the disagreements there between those two.
In the movie, Iron Man was more correct, definitely. Yeah.
So there we go. And that is one thing I do applaud the movie for doing. So at least they got that part right. They made Tony Stark feel like the villain, even though he was technically right, and that is the part that they incorporated that I do appreciate.
Yep.
So Agree. 46% of people agree with us.
46? Really?
Here's the thing, man. Like, I'm not saying that audiences are dumb. It's gonna sound like that. But if you paint something,
it quacks like a duck, but it's not a duck.
It's not a duck. No.
Really?
No, really? Yeah. So essentially, though, Kevin, like if you portray something in a certain way, then people are gonna fall for a hook, line, and sinker. So,
like if I get a duck to quack, people are gonna think it's a duck.
Yeah, even though it looks like a fucking giraffe. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, that's essentially what it is, because I guess just what I was just saying was Tony Stark in both the book and the movies made it look like the bad guy, but by the time both are done, you kind of realize, no, Stark had a fucking point.
Yep.
And yeah, so like if he was made to look like the bad guy, so people are gonna assume him that bad guy role. So, yep.
Plus, with his personality, it's very easy to kind of chalk him up in such a way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This next one's going to be really short.
Okay.
The Mandarin twist in Iron Man 3 was terrific.
Number 12.
You would never hear me say that again, by the way.
No, I was about to say that's...
Somebody could take a soundbite of that and use it to blackmail me. Gee, remember that one time you said that Iron Man 3 was not shit? But yeah, no, that was a terrible twist. Nothing that anyone could say would ever change my opinion.
Yeah, I was about to say, my vote there was hell no. Mm-hmm. So there we go. How many people agree with us or disagree?
56% of people agree with us.
Thank goodness. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It should be more, but
it should be
whatever.
Way more.
Yeah.
So wait. Give me a second. So we got... Actually, wait. So... I think I might have miscounted earlier. Okay. Oh, wait, no. People disagreed with us on killing off villains. Most people liked that idea, so never mind. Yeah, no. We have... And wait. Number 8. We said nah, and most people agreed or disagreed with us. 41%. Was that nah? People
41% agreed with us, so we were in the losing column.
We're in the losing column. Damn it. Okay. There's the other one. So yeah, never mind. I've been keeping track correctly. We are now up to 4. Okay.
Well, number 12. Number 12. Marvel Television should never cross over with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Fully disagree. I mean, I don't think that their stories should be so concurrent that they run beside each other. But would I appreciate Easter eggs and stuff to support one another? Heck yeah, I would, dude. You know? Like, would I appreciate a comment in Daredevil TV series if we ever got that mystical new 5th season in our universe or whatever? 5th? 4th. Yeah. That's what I meant.
I mean, I don't think that Easter eggs is what they're saying here. I think they're saying crossover.
Okay. So in other words, you're saying something a little stronger, Daredevil coming over on Captain America's movie, or vice versa.
Marvel Television should never cross over with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Actually, I got mixed feelings on this. Hold up. You gotta give me a second to comprehend that. Because now I'm thinking about it a little bit more deeply. So, I'm thinking out loud here now, homie, so all of us can kind of like make fun of the way I think. The dark and gritty story of like a Luke Cage or Daredevil going into the Disney energized MCU movies with those characters and titles, that might be a little wonky, in particular for those names. I'm trying to think of others, however, that wouldn't be, you know? In that particular example, I would say probably not, because I would want those characters to stay the way they are and to not be Disneyfied, you know?
There's a certain tone that these characters just shouldn't be in.
Right, and I mean, Daredevil has a dark and gritty story, and it needs to be told in such a light. Like, you can't Disneyfy his story up and make it the same Daredevil. At that point, you've changed your character. or you're dangerously close to potentially changing your character.
So Daredevil, he is one of those interesting properties where he has a lot of fucking material that is more lighthearted. Like I think a lot of Mark Waid stuff is more lighthearted, but Daredevil, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think he's had the most success in the dark and gritty, in both comics and live action.
Yeah, no, I mean, I fully agree with that. That's why I keep kind of bringing him up as an example. Plus, I love Daredevil.
I mean, but also, like, I can't see Punisher ever crossing over with anybody in the MCU. Not even Spider-Man. And I would love to see a Spider-Man crossover, but it can't happen.
No.
It wouldn't work. You know, and I think about, what about Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin again in a Spider-Man? Like, at first glance, that sounds great, but, like, can he really be the Kingpin? You know? And
I mean, first off, he would actually murder someone and not accidentally murder someone. I.e. Vulture. Oh, I thought that was the gravity gun. Oh, that's the evaporating gun? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, at first hearing, I was like prepared to slam the brakes on it, but I don't know. I might help drive it home now. It's got an interesting vibe to it at that point.
I think that, and I know a lot of people disagree with this particular statement, man, but I think there's a lot. I don't see any negative effect or downside to being a TV show instead of a movie. Like, I think that if you have let the movies in the MCU be their own thing, but build up the television shows so they can kind of conglomerate and have their own thing too. I don't see any problem with that.
In yesteryears, I'm sure Hollywood actors and actresses might have fought us on that. But in present day, with streaming services being as powerful as they are, no, I fully agree with you, dude. Being a Netflix actor carries a weight now that's going to be different, but similar nonetheless to being a silver screen actor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I totally gun-ho with that.
Oh, yeah.
The guy from Brady Bunch could rest easy now because, hey, look, you could have been a Netflix actor and bada bing, bada boom, you know?
So, I mean, I look at it like this. It's like, you know, there's just certain characters, man, that have that dark and gritty tone that just can't do well with the more light-hearted tone that Marvel goes for most of the time. Like, for example, I mean, there's Blade. Like, I don't think he's going to be a part of the MCU, even though he's getting his own movie. I don't really think that he's going to bleed over into the mainstream Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
you think it's going to be a one or a separate story at least?
Okay. I think that. I mean, for one thing, his movie has to be R-rated. I don't know how you do it PG-13. So that has to be a thing.
I'm curious to see how that goes down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, the only character I can think of who can bounce back and forth would be Deadpool. I mean, because he can be as jovial and as playful as you need him to be, or he can be a murderous psychopath if you need him to be. He's like one of the few.
That's the great thing about Charlie Cox, dude. Like, I got behind him when he was either. You know, his light jovial side with Foggy, but then his fucked up dark side with beating the living shit out of criminals and wanting to get the beaten living shit out of himself, you know? So, I mean, I agree with that person.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Let's do it.
Agree. 38% of people agree with this.
Quentin, I was so close to having, what was that, 62%. You talked me out of a potential winning vote, Q. We could have had 5. We could have been 5 for 12.
We are not doing well.
No. Well, we're not.
We're doing great. We're not doing. We're not.
We're not agreeing with the people.
Yeah. We're not mainstream. We're edgy. So this one I think we can skip because neither of us have seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to go one way or the other.
What was it, just in case?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is better than some of the films. From what I've heard, that's true, but I haven't seen enough to confirm.
Define some of the films, and we got a conversation. Okay.
I mean, some of the films.
Sure. I'm just gonna write down Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not gonna vote on that one, obviously, because it'd be unfair. I haven't seen it, so skip. I'm gonna say we got 5. 5 correct. Sure. Why
not? Let's see. The next one. The MCU's massive melees are a mess.
Not all of them. I would say some, but not all. And wait, what do they mean by massive melees?
It looks like they mean like the massive armies going up against like the Avengers, or I mean, because technically a massive melee is also the airport scene in Civil War, and that was fantastic. Another massive melee was Thanos' army versus the Avengers. That was fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious where they're coming from with that. Like, what's some of the energy there?
Let's see here. All of these fights where the heroes charge like madmen at the opposing side, I hate them. This goes double for Infinity War. If you're going to have an army, give them something to do, some kind of formation, tactics, anything. It's especially bad because the named characters only fights have tons of creative powers used and well thought out plans of attack. Not everything needs to devolve into an all-out brawl. That's what they're saying.
It sounds like he's being a little picky there.
He is, because he only uses one example, really.
Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too.
Yeah, for what you brought to the table, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. Really have to give more. Like, I mean, you could have went in on like the Chitauri in Avengers 1. You could have went in on the Ultron bots in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if anything, I wouldn't say that they're a mess. I said that they're repetitive.
Repetitive is that's a different word.
Yeah, that's
a
different
word.
Agree
with that,
but that's not what he says here.
Yeah. So people have got to have agreed with us on that one, man. Come on.
70% of people agree with us.
Hey, we get another one, guys. We're at 5 now. Ooh.
Oh shit.
What do you know?
Let's see.
Fuck. Excuse me. Okay. Table. What's up?
We should get this one. This should be short, but I think that we're going to be met with a lot of opposition.
Oh no. What's up?
The MCU relies too heavily on awkward humor.
Okay, you and me are going to be on the same boat is what you're saying, but ain't no one else going to be on the boat with us. We're going to be on our own little dinghy.
We gotta row ourselves.
We gotta row. While you're rowing, I got a bucket putting the water back into the fucking ocean because we sprung a leak. So they said they use too much awkward humor. Mm-hmm. I full-heartedly agree. That background beating noise you heard was my fist hitting the fucking chair. And that's disturbing, and I'm sorry, but it is so true that I need a javelin in this hand over here. I mean, I like awkward humor. I loved The Office. I loved The Office so much. I've watched it 2.5 times. The halftime was because I got distracted by a news show, so don't call me a sinner. But dude, awkward humor can be great.
Oh, yeah.
If used correctly. And some of these characters do not have the correct usage. That was a homemade javelin. That was my fist punching an imaginary person's face. Yes. That was a knuckle, excuse me. But yeah, I mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so here's the thing, is that, I mean, you're absolutely right, my friend. When it's done well, then it's done well. But as soon as you depend on it, then you have lost me completely. You should never depend on the awkward humor to sell your movie. I mean, the only ones that could possibly get away with it is the Guardians. I mean, looking at the tone of the Guardians comics that we've gotten, particularly the series done by Bendis, I mean, like there's a lot to be said there for that ragtag group.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense for them.
Yeah.
And it also works for them because none of them have to break their characters in order to do it, except for Drax. They kind of screwed over Drax.
Yeah, they had to kind of break them apart, and they put them back together the wrong way for that one.
Yeah, but he was really the only one. I will say this: Groot is way more fucking fearsome in the comics as well.
I was having an argument with a coworker the other day about that. This was almost the cold opener I chose. Talking about adorable baby whatever face characters and how I'm tired of them. I talked about that a lot on one of our Patreon episodes regarding Star Wars, homies. Go ahead and check that out when you get some time.
Who could it be talking about? I wonder.
I know, right? Who the Anyways, or excuse me, that was technically the Mandalorian episode. So there you go. Another hint as who I could have been talking about. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But check it out later.
He thinks Pablo Pascal is adorable. Isn't that what you're getting at?
Punch. Punch. But Nah, dude, I wrote down bing, bing, bing on this one because this is probably the ones I agree with the hardest. Like, I slammed the gas pedal too hard on this vote. Yeah, dude.
I think for us, man, and I'm going to rip you in this too, but I think it kind of just goes back around to superhero homies rule number 1. Like, you have to stay true to the integrity of the characters. And if you're going to break that integrity just to sell a stupid joke, then I'm not on board.
No, me neither. Yeah. Because I go to YouTube for stupid jokes. I go look at Facebook for stupid jokes.
So people could listen to that, could listen to what we say, and interpret that as we don't like humor. That's not true. No. We like the humorist of humor.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Like, we laugh at the stupidest shit.
We really do. You should hear some of the bullshit we make up. You know? It's great.
Like, 2 of my favorite comedy movies, completely different spectrums, Tropic Thunder and My Wet Hot American Summer. I think
those are great.
Those are great because what? None of them are trying to battle the fucking Thanos.
Yeah.
You know, none of them are trying to stop the universe from being destroyed. None of them have these serious undertones that require more serious moments in them. That's not it.
Another one that I like to use, I watch this at work every now and then. I haven't lately, but something I've watched twice over now. The Dragon Ball Abridged series. Huge shout out to Team 4-Star because, daggum, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And they at the beginning of every episode now, they say this is a parody, a fan-based parody on this. So they're telling you, hey, we're going to use these characters differently than what the OG content has. And that's great.
Yeah, it's a
They're
parody.
Awesome.
But the MCU should not be a fucking parody. It should not feel like a parody.
That was the alley-oop setup. Yeah. I was waiting for you to say that because that's exactly the point. At the beginning of these Marvel credits, when they're having the cool Marvel cinematic introduction where it's like all the cool little cutscenes from movies past building up to the Marvel text, there's never a little footnote subtitle box saying, warning, this is a parody. That's not there.
Right.
So if the day they put it there, I'll be a little softer on this. But they're not gonna. No. Not for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed. So we both hard agree with the statement that the MCU relies...
How wrong are we? Oh gosh, Quentin, I'm not ready. How small is the boat?
So of all the people that agree with us, the number is 30%. 30% of people agree with us.
So I've been marking the ones that we technically aren't like the most agreeable with X's, and there's a lot of X's on my paper. there's a few check marks.
Statistically speaking, there's got to be a lot of homies out there listening who are on the opposite side of us, and I apologize to all of you for listening to us and our epic rants.
Well, you're right, and I go along with that apology, and I side with Q on that. However, I hope that at the same time that you would listen to us with an open mind and ask yourselves, now, wait a minute, was that actually the character or was that a wannabe parody? Like we just talked about. Yeah. So bear with us, please. And also, please keep listening.
Yes.
Please subscribe and all the good things.
Hell yeah. It's kind of interesting, Kevin, because you just spoke about one of your favorite comedy things to watch, Team 4-Star, and they're fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But speaking of Team 4-Star and Dragon Ball Z, Project Kakarot's coming out this Friday, and a few weeks from now, once we've had time to experiment with the game, we're going to do a full-on Patreon review of the game and cover it, just like we did with the Spider-Man PS4 game and several others.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great.
Yes. So for those of you who have not checked it out yet, if you guys go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/superherohomies. That way you guys can check out our Patreon page, and we have a lot of cool shit there. $1 gets you all of our new movie reviews, including The Gentleman, which we'll be covering
in a couple weeks.
2 weeks from now. Bad Boys 3, which we'll be covering in a couple days. The Grudge, which we did just a few short weeks ago. Star Wars, and every single other movie that we've covered. On top of that, our $3 account gives you access to everything that we do, including our video game reviews, such as Project Kakarot.
Right.
And it also gives you access to all of our other talks, such as Rick and Morty, Mandalorian, The Witcher, which we're going to be doing here as well, and everything else.
So, real quick, just so I can actually add my voice to that advertisement spot as well. What your money goes to, guys, if you've asked yourself that yet, it goes to supporting us and supporting the cost it takes to keep up with the podcast, so that we can still continue to dish out some awesome content quality for you guys as listeners. We love you. We thank all of you for your support. We thank all the Patreoners. Okay, spot over. We're good. Let's move.
Black Widow doesn't deserve her own movie.
Okay, pass. Get the fuck out of here. I am totally disagreeing with that. What's their reasoning? Open mind. Let me exercise it too.
So,
open mind.
I'll give them this. They start off with a pretty good line.
What's that?
And they say there isn't enough going on with her character to separate her from Atomic Blonde, Lucy, Salt, Colombiana, etc. I'll give you this. There are a lot of femme fatale movies in that kind of category.
Yeah, we do have a lot of femme fatales.
I mean, and they do all feel the same. I think that's really the thing.
I get that, and I agree with it because they do feel the same. Like I was talking about Anna with someone the other day. I didn't care for that.
Yeah, Anna added to the list.
There you go. Same vibe.
However, just from the trailers, I mean, and I disagree with the first thing he says. I think there is enough going on with the character to have her own movie.
Yeah. No, same here. I fully agree that there is one. I think that, for one, Scarlett Johansson has been such a team player for all these movies that she herself as the actress deserves to have a main spot in the movie. Mm-hmm. She's been fascinating, guys, and I'm happy about this. A big old chance for us to literally utilize her to a full extent. I mean, to that one case alone, I would disagree with our Reddit user in this particular question. I see where they're coming from, though. That is a valid point where it's like this could have a chance of feeling underwhelming and overly familiar. Mm-hmm. But I would agree with you in what you just said, in that, no, the trailers already kind of give us a different vibe for that, because it's not a story of one femme fatale and her badassery and how she's somehow able to take down 300, 200-pound men being a 120 stick figure, you know?
Yeah.
I.e. Anna. But...
Well, yeah. The difference, though, also is that unlike all these other ones, and unless I'm wrong here, Black Widow predates all of them. She has lore. None of these other characters do. None of these other movies have that kind of lore, except for maybe Atomic Blonde. But even then, it's not that. It's not fucking 40, 50 years of lore like Black Widow has.
True. Plus, Black Widow isn't a solo femme fatale in this movie. We get Natasha in this movie. Right?
Oh, Yelena.
Yelena, thank you. Yeah, that's why I meant. Excuse me, Natasha. I went a different direction with that. Oh, duh. Hang on. But
we do get Natasha.
We get Natasha. Everyone across the mics right now listening. No shit, Kevin. Go to bed. But no, we get Yelena Belova.
Yep.
Yelena. That's what I said.
Yep.
Yelena.
That's what you said.
Yelena Belova.
Red Guardian.
Yeah, I was about to say the Red Guardian. I'm super excited for that.
Taskmaster.
So yeah, no, this is similar to those in that it's a badass femme fatale,
but it's still a Marvel movie.
Exactly. Yeah. So there you go.
I will say this though, like I think that she does deserve her own movie, but so does Hawkeye. I think that this would have been great had it been a Black Widow Hawkeye movie as well.
True.
I don't know why they haven't pulled the trigger on that one.
Isn't Hawkeye going to be with a Kate Bishop thing though?
Yeah, he is going to have his own movie, but from what I read recently, there's been reports that it's been delayed indefinitely, which is never good. But then Marvel also said that no, that's not the case. But then we still don't have any kind of release date, so we don't know if they're just blowing smoke or if
that's mixed.
Yeah.
TBD.
Yep, exactly. But so, no, we both
disagree with that.
Hard disagree.
So sorry, Reddit. We're saying not broad to that.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
71% of people agree with us.
Hey, we're moving on.
If we can at least break 50%, I guess we would probably need to get the rest of these on the head. We'll see.
Yeah, no, literally to get 50%, we would need the rest of these.
Okay. We can do it. All right.
Okay.
The next one here, I feel like this is also a slam dunk.
Okay.
Tony Stark isn't a hero.
That's a hard pass. Who typed that? Who's trying to get attention on the internet? I'm sorry. I need to stop.
Oh shit.
Your opinion is valued. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what more can we say? No, like that's like I don't know where you get that from. Tony Stark isn't a hero. What? The man who sacrificed his life,
right,
isn't a hero.
I mean, remember the iconic lines in Avengers saying the only things that made you special came out of a bottle, and then the retort, "You're not the type of man to make the sacrifice play." Well, we saw both sides of that being fulfilled, especially in this particular argument. Freaking Captain Steve Rogers' side. We saw his side being fulfilled that, yeah, he made the sacrifice play. What are you talking about, dude? But what movies did you see? Did you see it in game?
Yeah, I mean, like, for you to say that Tony Stark isn't a hero, with all due respect to the homie or the Redditor that wrote this, I feel like you've missed the entire boat on Tony's arc. Like, for as much as I fucking hate and despise Iron Man 3... even that was a part of his journey.
What was their argument? I gotta know now. What? Because hopefully there's a lot of people, a majority of people that agree with us in this case. But what are they saying?
Man, so even in his argument, like he's wrong. Anyways, this Redditor says Tony Stark has caused almost as much damage as good, and he didn't have a leg to stand on in Civil War. What? He goes on.
Wait. This wasn't the same person that earlier said that Tony Stark was right?
These are all different Redditors.
Okay. That's why I gotta remind myself. I think this dude was just commenting to get attention.
Yeah.
And those guys do exist out there.
He goes on, he says, Tony doesn't think anything through past his immediate feelings and is often lucky that other people do have some foresight. This continues through Infinity War, and people mistake him being arrogant and brash for being heroic. If he didn't run off the Titan with only 2 allies, they might have actually been able to mount a defense in Wakanda. The Guardians of the Galaxy showing up when they did saved his life long before Doctor Strange bargained with Thanos. Your argument is completely bonkers.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, no, you lost.
There is no argument there. I mean,
so how many people agreed with us?
82% of people agreed.
That's the biggest yet. Everyone said you're an asshole. Go to bed. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just a ridiculous argument.
So that's probably the strongest one yet. Actually, I'm gonna mark that so far.
It's funny, man. With most ridiculous arguments, we'll sit here and we'll break that shit down. But with this, there's no reason.
No, with this, go watch the movies again.
Yeah.
Number 18.
Number 18. Thor Ragnarok doesn't belong in the MCU.
Who's this Reddit user? Say their name. What's their name, dude?
This Reddit user is Heliosis.
Heliosis, you know who you are. You know what the real name is. Heliosis, I shake your hand, sir. And I do that in intimate shaking hand where I not only shake your hand, but I have my left hand clasp the back of your hand in my right hand, and I double shake your hand with a hearty thank you.
Oh shit!
And the Medal of Superhero Homie Honor, the Medal of Homie Honor,
yes,
is bestowed upon you, sir. Jokes aside, I'm glad we're not the only one who has such an opinion.
Right. I mean, for any homie who's been listening to our podcast for any length of time, you know where we stand on this. I mean, I completely agree with this Redditor. Ragnarok does not belong in the MCU. Ragnarok is tonally incorrect.
Was it a fun movie? And would you even argue, was it a good movie? Sure, yeah. Was it a good comic book movie? No. It
shits all over superhero homies rule number 1.
Right.
Not true to hardly any of the characters, honestly. Mm-hmm. It's not true to Thor. It's definitely not true to Hulk. Mm-hmm. Not true to Valkyrie. I mean, it's not true to Grandmaster. It's
definitely not. No.
I mean, but like you said, Kevin, it is a really enjoyable movie. Like if you, I guess, like if you really don't give a shit or don't care about any kind of comics, you can watch this movie and fucking enjoy it. But unfortunately, if your mind's been tainted with any kind of comic source material, when you watch Ragnarok, you're gonna be, or if you read Planet Hulk, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? I mean, so yeah, like I think that this Ragnarok belongs in the MCU just like Lego Batman would belong in the DCEU. It doesn't.
Ooh.
I mean, because it's the same shit.
Yeah. No, I'm digging it, man. Pour that gas on this. Yeah. What's 19? Wait, first off, what's 18? I know we're in the wrong here. I know people disagree with us. What's the numbers? We are under 50 now.
13% of people agree with us.
Fuck, man. Okay.
Yeah,
well, there goes that.
What can you do?
There goes
that. You know.
Right. So, what's next? 19. Can we at least finish stronger?
I think we can. I think we're going to finish pretty strong.
Okay. You read ahead?
Number 19.
Okay. Oh, no, I don't mind if you do. Yeah, because that gives me hope.
Joss Whedon did a bad job on the Avengers.
On Avengers 1?
Yeah, it says on the first Avengers.
I disagree. I wouldn't say he did a bad job. Did he do a perfect job? No. I would ask him where details they're trying to pull from to strengthen the case that he might have done a bad job. I would take that to court. I would listen. But yeah, what are they saying? Because I see you reading it. So what's their vote?
They say the first Avengers has the best structure and the most fun battle scene in the series and deserves right for props, but Joss Whedon's script and direction have already aged very poorly. Any interior shot is not guaranteed to suck. Scarlett Johansson looks lost half the time. What the Avengers Initiative even is poorly spelled out. It's just messy. I disagree with him.
Yeah, no, I disagree too. I'm writing down the note for that one.
And this just kind of verifies something I've said in a previous podcast, which is people don't give Joss Whedon the flowers he deserves. People forget that had this movie not been such a massive success, that we wouldn't have made it this far.
This was a critical movie for the rest of the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
12 years would have been cut down to 2. Maybe 3.
I'd say 4. Because Iron Man came out in 2008. This came out in 2012.
Yep, 4. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. For whatever intents and purposes, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. So, it would have been cut down to that, and we probably wouldn't have got so many other movies.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, so this is almost like the one about Tony Stark not being a hero. This is pretty open and shut case.
I wouldn't argue such an open and shut case just because, like I said, the movie wasn't perfect, sure.
No movie is.
Yeah. So this is less of just incorrect trolling statement, but I would still unfortunately disagree with you entirely.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, like,
how many people are on the same court as us? Because I feel like in this one it was a clean sweep.
88% of people agree with us.
Okay. Yeah. Damn, that broke the record.
Yeah.
That broke the record more than Tony Stark's heroism. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, this is the first time any movie like this has ever been done. Where we got all these heroes with their individual movies come together to make one movie. The first time that's ever happened. And, I mean, I think for the most part, Joss fucking nailed this out of the park.
I think this Redditor was just gaining comments and things like that, honestly. Because some of these, you gotta wonder. It's like, are you just disagreeing with your friends to be heard?
Right.
You know?
Some people are like that.
There are people like that. And I'm sorry that's what it takes for you to be heard, my man.
Or, I mean, he could just legitimately think that Avengers 1 is bad. I would also say this guy's also probably really, really young, this person.
Or they. Let's be respectful.
Yeah, I said this person. Yeah.
This person, yeah. Mm-hmm. But potentially they could be very young, too. So there's that. Yeah. They'll revisit the movie in a few years, if that's the case, and look back and think, oh, wait, I might have been a little early on that comment.
The reason I say that is because, like, if you're, like, our age or older, then you grew up watching the gritty, oh, man, the shitty superhero movies we had to endure in, like, the 90s and early 2000s. Like, with the exception of, like, Spider-Man and the X-Men, there weren't a lot of good ones.
I can see how that would paint an opinion, how that might create a bias.
And then like we saw slowly the release of the MCU movies that crescendoed into the Avengers, and it was a big event.
Yeah.
So maybe this person just kind of grew up with already having the Avengers.
They were spoiled.
Yeah.
All right. Hit me up with that 20. Let's see if we can at least get 9.
Number 20, man.
Oh dear. Okay.
Loki is a rubbish character.
All right, I'm going to bed. We lost, Quentin. We lost. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? Yeah, sure. No, fuck that. Tom Hiddleston did a fucking great job with that character. I mean, yeah, right? Loki was great.
I think that Tom Hiddleston did an amazing job. I think his character...
That's what I said. I didn't say Riddleston.
I think his character was inconsistent at best.
His character was inconsistent. I will say that. One movie he was the guaranteed villain, another he was, comic relief almost. But
yeah, and I think a lot of people could argue that's kind of like his character growth and development. But in my opinion, there's no real growth. There was just back and forth. Even when he died, you don't really know Loki's true intentions.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So, I mean, do I think he was a rubbish character, though? No. That's a whole no. I disagree.
First off, what part of London is this person from? Because he used the word rubbish.
That's true.
Which, very cool of you, by the way. That is a great adjective in this case. And not enough people use that. Quentin, this is rubbish. I might use it a little bit more often. So in that, I agree with you. That's a dope word. But for this character choice, I would say that is the wrong word to use. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I guess just to clarify once again, and we may be on the same page on this, but yeah, Loki was definitely not used perfectly. Hell, he wasn't even used that good all the time. I mean, he really was at the mercy of the director's discretion.
Ragnarok, Dark World.
I mean, yeah, he was just all over the place, man.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, when you see Loki, you don't really... And maybe that's what they were trying to go for. You don't know what to think, but that's kind of an issue as well.
But Thor and...
Avengers.
And the scene in Dark World, when he's in the jail cell and everything looks fine and hunky-dory, but then all of a sudden... The facade comes down and Thor's like, look, I can see through this. Take it away. I know what you're really up to. And all of a sudden, you just see a ravished and... like a room was thrown apart and his whole jail cell is just like flipped over and he looks manic, dude. He's just sitting there just defeated because his mother was just killed.
Yeah.
And that was a great scene. If you're gonna say the character was rubbish, nah, bro.
I kind of disagree with that.
I gotta nudge away from that. Yeah.
I look at that scene also, man. There's just the earlier scene also in the almost the same scene is when Freya just died, and there's no words in the scene. A guard walks by, and we as the audience gathered that the guard is telling Loki Freya's dead. Yeah. And then Loki, he just kind of nods and waves the guard off. And then as soon as the guard is out of shot, Loki he looks up just this fucking frustrated sigh, and just a power wave just kind of shoots out and fucks the room up. And yeah, it was a very small scene, but super fucking pivotal.
Yeah, dude.
And then you can't forget like all the shit that he had in Thor 1. He had some of the best shit in Thor 1. Him with Odin, man, like that that shit was amazing.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, just him breaking down emotionally, finding out who he really was. That shit was great. It was great acting, and it really sold that character.
Tom Hiddleston was super dope like that, dude. I mean, yeah, no. What they gave him to do wasn't always just for the character, but he did outstanding with whatever they gave him. So I will definitely always give him that. I can never say that he was a bad or even rubbish character.
Yeah.
How many people are on our side? I feel like we might have actually won that one.
89% of people agree with us.
Okay. That broke the biggest record somehow.
Yeah.
There's a Graham Norton's show actually. Shout out to them real quick. Gave a great comment as to this audience. This cult following for Tom Hiddleston. They're Hiddlestoners now.
Oh
yeah, the Hiddlestoners. There's a huge following of them, and that's why that was the most. I guess the highest percentage of difference there. 89 versus what is that? 11%. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, the tally is... We are 9 out of 12.
You mean 9 out of 20?
That's what I said.
Yes.
9 out of 20.
Yep.
That's that. I'm not mathing wrong. You're mathing
I was like,
wrong.
9 out of 12. We did pretty good.
We did pretty good. Well, some of these were so dumb that I just threw them off the. No, I'm joking, guys. So 9 out of 20.
Technically, not the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one. Like, we didn't technically count that one. So would it be 9 out of 19?
Technically 9 out of 18. Oh my gosh, no way. Okay, now I'm arguing for us, which is probably a sin, because we didn't vote on number 3. We both said meh for number 3.
What was number
Age
3?
of Ultron is actually really great, and we said we don't know what to vote for that. We said...
I mean, it certainly isn't shit, but it's not great.
Yeah. It was 75-25, whatever the ratio was. I wrote down both because I didn't know what our vote was for that one.
Yeah, that one's not so binary. But I mean, yeah, if you know, I mean, hell, we can cheat for ourselves. This is our fucking podcast. Do whatever we want. Fuck y'all.
Quentin, you can't tell the homies to fuck off.
I just did.
Homies, he didn't mean it. We're just competitive.
Y'all are wrong and we are right.
Okay, wait a minute now. Now we're getting to what we just talked about. All right, homies. Hopefully this has been fun for all of you.
Yeah, this has been a blast. I had a lot of fun with these.
Yeah, dude, this was a good find. Reddit questionnaire. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And once again, shout out to all these Redditors, and I never thought I'd say that. And shout out to Ranker.com as well for organizing these statements.
Yep. Whether we agreed with you or not, it was all done in fun. And hopefully, if any of you guys are homies and listening on, you'll appreciate us bringing the comment back again. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this...
Thank you guys for making the comment. There you go.
Yeah, this gave us like a lot of great talking points.
Yeah. Revisiting the MCU and just kind of kick it back and, really thinking detailed and some of the most pivotal, interesting scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And unfortunately, some of the weaker ones too. But,
yeah. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun, guys, and once again, we have a lot of fun shit coming up as well. So
this was a really fun test. This had us on our feet to make sure we knew our stuff. Oh, yeah. But like you're saying, we do have a lot of great stuff coming up. We already talked a lot about it, but we have a lot of great stuff for the main cast here also coming up. Don't be afraid to check out both this and the Patreon. Oh,
absolutely, absolutely. So if you guys aren't already on board, we will be covering the Dark Knight Metal series here really soon. As a matter of fact, that was going to be next week. It's going to be that soon. And that will be covering Dark Days, The Road to Metal. That's the prelude to the main series, Dark Knight Metal, which we'll also be covering. Then we'll also be covering The Batman Who Laughs. So those 3 books we're going to be talking about in tandem come next episode. So
next time on the Hero Homies.
Hell motherfucking yeah.
Hero Homies.
But that's going to be all for now, guys. Besides that, be sure to check out our Patreon page. And that's going to be all.
You think we advertising enough?
No, probably not.
So, guys, we have a Patreon page. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't resist. But, yeah, guys, thank you for listening again. Thank you to all the new homies out there. Welcome to the crew. Welcome. You are now officially homies. Congratulations.
Whether you like it or not. It's like the draft. You don't have a choice.
We take everybody.
What
are you, 40? 50? Come on over. We got you.
Hell yeah, we got you.
We got all of you. What are you, 14, 13?
We got you.
You probably need to be careful with the language you use because we use a lot of it. But yeah, we got you.
Nope, fuck that. All right?
Okay, wait a minute.
But seriously though, if you guys have any kind of questions, comments, gifts, food supplies, then hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or any of our social media outlets. We are always active and live.
Hell yeah. And of course, guys, the Patreon page, we talked about it plenty, but one more jab at it. We are at patreon.com/superherohomies. $1 gets you most things, $3 gets you everything.
And until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
And as always, I am Superhero Homie Kevin.